guys, how the fuck are you doing today? I am bringing you the Out of the Dark series, which is where I come to you with some really cool idea or concept, and I broadcast it to you guys. Maybe you didn't know a lot about it, and I'm just helping you enlighten yourself about something. And I'm not some smart guy. I just, find cool shit on the internet and talk about it over video games. That's it. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about Scientology, but before we really talk about Scientology, let me just say one thing, and this, I think, applies to all belief systems and all religions. And, if you're investigating any religion, if you decide to hit it with a hammer and see if it makes sense, if people have died in the name of said religion, if it's been abusive psychologically, if you have, been damaged by it, or if it's damaged other people around you, if wars have been started by it, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck that religion. If that's what the belief system does, it doesn't have a place in society. It's 2014. Whatever gets you through the day, I don't have the answers. I know that the universe is very vast, and we don't know shit about it, so I'm open to all possibilities. Fuck, man, there may be some spooky man in the sky who's watching me. I don't know. But I know that living your life with love and kindness and positivity is powerful. That's what I know. Anyway, the basic idea of Scientology is actually really cool, and when I went into this, I said, well, why does this have so much criticism? They talk about how man is an immortal being, and you're more than your body and your mind, and be nice to people, and they give you tools to guide your emotions in the proper way. They teach you how to let go of repressive memories that may be holding you back, and they give you tools to do it. They give you actual technology to help you get rid of, a negative past, and I think that's really awesome. And infusing technology and spirituality together is a powerful idea, because technology is getting to such a place where you could really apply that to religion. But it all comes down to how it's used, and it comes down to how you practice those ideas. And from what I've seen, there is a huge disconnect between what the Church of Scientology believes and what they actually practice. So, at the very basic core, it makes a lot of sense. But the deeper you go, the crazier it fucking gets, man. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down a little bit. You start off at OT level 0 or 1. Alright, so you can think about this in terms of being a battlefield player. If you're at level 1 as a battlefield player, once you get to level 2, you're a little bit more experienced, and, that's great. With Scientology, you go to OT level 1, you go to OT level 2, OT level 3, so on and so on. However, in order to get to OT level 2, OT level 3, and so on, you need to pay a certain amount of money. So that means every time you level up, you have to pay money. Imagine if I'm playing Battlefield and I have to pay $5 for every level that I, get to. Get the fuck out of here. What do you mean I'm paying another level? Yeah, right. I'm not paying another level to get to level 2. But that's what you have to do. And, I said that infusing technology and spirituality is very cool and an awesome idea. But infusing money and spirituality? Nah. Sorry. Get the fuck out of here. Bullshit meter is already going off of the fucking charts when I see that. Anyways, once you get to OT level 3, you learn about this ancient and secret knowledge of this General Xenu, this galactic evil emperor. And you may think I'm bullshitting right now. I promise you I'm not. There is this evil galactic emperor named Xenu, and he sent these hydrogen bombs to Earth, and he blew them up in all these volcanoes, and he's sending these evil souls to Earth. And then there's a spiritual battle between your soul and then this evil soul that's trying to take over your body. It's just, and I think I could be wrong on some of those specifics, but holy fuck, man. What? That sounds like a bad Star Trek movie. General Xenu? Oh my god. And come on, religion in and of itself is kind of weird. I mean, if you think about it, you're drinking the blood of Jesus, and Jesus was technically a zombie because he rose from the dead. So you're drinking the blood of a Jewish zombie. When you step back logistically and look at that, that's a little weird. But General Xenu? Dude, come on. I have my Are You For Real face on right now. Fuck out of here. That makes no sense. Anyway, let's say you can get past all that. Let's say you can get past Lord Xenu and his evil minions. And let's say that everything else makes a lot of sense and you're, happy with it. Okay. Well, here's where it gets bad. They have been accused of repressing people. I've read stories online of people who, women in particular who were trying to have a childbirth. They weren't like full-fledged members, but they were in the Church of Scientology. They were trying to have children, and they weren't allowed to scream because they said if you scream, then you give repressive memories to your kid who'll have to deal with it later in life. So that means women are not allowed to say anything during childbirth. They have to be completely quiet. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Ugh, makes no sense. Anyway, that's just one very small example. I watched the documentary of a dude who was trying to, and he worked for the BBC, and he was actually trying to talk about Scientology, and the people who worked at the church actually followed him around with video cameras. They were following him around. And what I learned was that this Church of Scientology is incredibly aggressive towards people who are critical of it. Who knows, man? They might show up at my fucking house by making this video. They probably won't, but still. It's really weird. And I think the reason that they do this is because of the fact that if they've been accused of mind control and subliminal messaging, and they have, if they're found guilty of that, I'm not even surprised. Because they do this thing called disconnection, which is where if you're in, let's say I was in the Church of Scientology, right? And let's say my family members thought it was a cult, the church would tell me to disconnect from them, let them go and never talk to them again. What? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? I can understand getting rid of negative people in your life, but your family, and I'm not even talking about blood, because blood is one thing, you know, your mom and your dad. I mean family in the rawest term possible. The people that have been with you day in, day out, who are supporting you, who are helping you to be a better person, who are looking out for your best interests. And they tell you to disconnect from those people, maybe because they don't understand what you're trying to do. Man, I have some crazy beliefs that my friends haven't agreed with me on. That doesn't mean that I disconnect from them. And that is incredibly harmful because you create this atmosphere of self-confirmation bias. And what I mean by that is these people are in this atmosphere where they don't see any criticism. They do not see any other viewpoint other than the church's. And that can be very damaging. You know, they're not allowed to go online. They're not allowed to look at the news. Anything that accuses the church of being bad, you're not allowed to look at it. And how does that encourage free will? How does that encourage positive thinking? How does that encourage anything that is even remotely beneficial to yourself? And that's where it's weird. It gets even crazier. When you pledge yourself to the quote-unquote Sea Org, if you don't know what that means, that's okay. It's a very abstract concept, and I don't even fully understand it, but where you basically become a priest of the church. Think about it like that, where you start to work for the Church of Scientology. That is what they call a Sea Org, if you've heard that term before. Anyway, you're not allowed to have kids. You are incredibly repressed as a human being, and they keep you on a compound, and if you stray outside of the church in any way, then they put you through rehabilitation, which includes hard labor, and it's so fucking crazy! What? It's... So, you know, they've been accused of government operations, of mind control, and just oppression, and they go after people that criticize them. So, in my opinion, it's a fucking cult, and it doesn't seem to do as much positive as it does bad. I've heard of people who, you know, are suing the Church of Scientology for being fraudulent, who have repressed them, for kidnapping, for theft, you know, like I said before, subliminal messaging and mind control, which is illegal, and it seems like it's a gigantic tax evasion with some weird fucking spooky belief system. That's what it seems like to me. You know, if you want to learn how to, like, guide your emotions in a positive way, man, there's a whole self-help section of fucking Barnes & Noble. You don't need to get into a Church of Scientology where you potentially can never have kids again. It's nuts. But for the sake of the argument, let's take a step back here, because I know, you know, there might be one or two of you guys who believe in the Church of Scientology, and where I really have to draw a line and I have to say, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense either, is when I hear Christians go after the Church of Scientology, because in my opinion, Christianity can be almost as much of a cult as Scientology can, and you can feel free to disagree with me. But from what I've seen, the church can be incredibly oppressive as well. So when I see Christians going after Scientology people, you know, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? There have been priests that have been accused of raping little kids, and it's been proven, and rather than persecuting them, the Pope just puts them in this really nice resort, he transfers them around. The Vatican, in and of itself, you all know what the Vatican is. Well, it's basically this palace that is paved in gold, surrounded by a ghetto. And that doesn't sit right with me. It's a belief system that revolves around being nice to people and giving to other people, yet it's a palace of gold, surrounded by, or that's, you know, encapsulated by a ghetto. I don't feel like Jesus would be very approving of that. You know, it's a very weird belief system. You know, a talking snake, a golden apple, a woman was created out of a rib cage. You know, to go after Scientology, that's okay, but at least be aware of the fact that your religion is equally weird. And I'm not saying that it's wrong or it's not wrong, because I don't fucking know. I know that the universe is crazy, and it says, and you know, it's supposed to be infinite, which means that all possibilities exist. So, you know, I entertain the idea that Christianity is very real, and that, you know, I was raised a Catholic, I know a lot about it, but still, it's just, I'm not okay with that religion either. And there have been more people killed in the name of God than in any other cause ever created in the history of mankind. It's ridiculous to say, well, they're wrong and you're right, because they're equally ridiculous. You know, I'm sure that the pagans looked at the Christians the way we look at the Scientologists. You know, that's how the Christianity got so big to begin with. They recruited these people called pagans, and pagans are simply those who worship the earth and the sun and the stars, and they worship multiple gods, but it's a very peaceful belief system. And I have no doubt that they looked at Christianity like, what the fuck are you saying? You're telling me there's a spooky man in the sky who's judging everything I do, and if I fuck up, I go into hellfire and brimstone? Is that what you're really telling me? Man, I don't know if I agree with that. You know? Anyway, I digress. Both are equally ridiculous in my opinion, but if it resonates with you, that's what matters. Because at the end of the fucking day, man, what resonates with you is what matters. If it gets you through the day, if it makes you a more positive human being, that is what truly matters. I've heard of alcoholics who become, you know, these really stand-up members of society because they use Christianity as an operating system for their mind, and then they became these amazing people. And that's fucking brilliant. And I have no problem with believing in God. I have a problem with this gigantic institution, which by and by seems to be incredibly corrupt. The church and the church's Scientology. Both seem to be, you know, decent belief systems, but, you know, they're both a fucking cult. They're both the definition of a cult. And that is the reality. But if you believe in it and it makes you happy and it resonates with you, then that's fucking awesome. Just don't get wound up too much in this stuff, guys. I have more videos coming your way. I hope you enjoyed this series. You know, I'm more than happy to go into anything controversial. No fear whatsoever, motherfuckers. Anyway, next up, we got gun control, because I know you guys want to hear about gun control, and I have a very different perspective on it than most people. So, I hope you enjoy this video. If it stirred something in you, if you're angry, if you're irritated, good. That's awesome. I want you to be angry. I want you to be irritated. I want you to be like, I want you to get a little fed up. I want you to be nice at the same time. Be critical and, you know, be nice to people. If you start sounding off in the comments like an asshole, then, you know, you just get banned. Anyway, I'm out. I love you, motherfuckers. Peace.